Hey everyone, we're back again with another troubleshooting type video. What we're going to be talking about today is part about grind and finding the right grind for your coffee. So today we're using this Clever dripper. It's a Chinese-made full immersion filtered dripper, drip brewer. Basically, I'll show you the grab a filter here. So we're going to take our number 4 milliliter filter, and let me just adjust this a little bit. Okay, good. Number 4 milliliter. We're going to fold it where the seams are, so it'll sit inside the Clever. We're just going to put that in the Clever, and then we're going to rinse the filter out nicely. All right. So as you can see, the water pools inside the chamber. Right, and so when you how do we do this? Can you see this? Good. When we put the Clever on top of a cup, there's actually a rim here that seals, and it opens, and as you can see, the liquid flows through. Right. Yes. Okay, so that's basically how it works. There's a valve here at the bottom, and that valve moves up and down. Right, okay. So now that that's all done, get rid of this. We're gonna get some coffee here. I'm gonna make a 12-ounce cup, so I'm going to need 24 grams. Good. Alright, so basically the basic way we're going to run this is we're going to take the coffee, grind it, put it inside, and then we're going to immerse the coffee with the water for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, then we're going to place the Clever on top of the cup, and we're looking for really about a 4-minute brew time, total time. So we want 4 minutes of both immersion as well as pass through. And we want, how do we gauge this? We gauge this by the amount that when the water finally flows through the filter, it should be right around 4 minutes. And that's what we're talking about. When we talk about tuning our grind, we want to adjust our grind so that everything finishes in 3 minutes. So we're going to I've set up a grind here on this compact R80. So I'm going to put that in. Make sure that everything gets, all the coffee gets into it. That's one of the, but do be careful. Don't put your fingers in like I just did. It's probably an unsafe thing to do. Okay, so now we've got our coffee in the brewer. And then let's get some water. So hot water, if you're doing it at home, off the boil is fine. Here we've got a water tower that heats the water to about 96 degrees or so Celsius. Okay, so we're going to have 2 timers here. We're going to have one that has our countdown timer at 3 minutes, and then we've got another timer that we're going to use to count up, and that's going to I keep the countdown timer at 3 minutes mainly because as we're working with here at the shop and then preparing coffee for guests, that lets me know that, hey, it's time to attend to the. So we got our coffee. We're going to start brewing, and I'm going to start a timer. So I'm going to put 80 grams or so to start the brewing cycle, and as you can see, it is a little bit of blooming. I just roasted this coffee yesterday, so we're going to wait for about 30 seconds. We're almost there. Alright, now we're about 30, so now we're going to add coffee to full volume. And I'm just going to add it to make sure we get all the coffee saturated. I mean, brewing with the Clever, it's like doing immersion, like a French press. It's very simple. Oops, 362, that'll be all right. And I'm going to use the cover to retain some of the heat. I usually take it off the scale because I'm concerned about, I'm concerned about it sliding off and then making a problem for me later, which is what we don't want. So just wipe everything down. And so pretty much at this point, the coffee will just seep inside the water and extracting its solubles and everything. But like I said, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to have, we're looking for a grind setting that will give us the right amount of resistance, right? So it's always about resistance of the coffee to the water, whether we're doing coffee in a pour-over brewer such as this, or in, let's say, espresso machine. It's always about the resistance of the coffee against the water, resistance to the water by the coffee, right? So in the case of like the full immersion part, like right now, like in a French press, that's not such a big concern. What you're concerned about now is really not being too fine so that you get over extraction, right? We'll taste this again and then see how it tastes. I mean, at the end of the day, everything is about taste. Taste is the truly final arbiter of what we're doing, because no matter what kind of measurements you're making, a lot of people will talk about, oh, let's get some, it's almost time, so we'll get a cup, give it a little bit of water here to, but like I said, everything is about taste. Now I'm going to get the other timer ready so that when we put it down, I'm going to start this green timer just so we can see how long it's taking to flow through. All right, we're coming up in the last 5 seconds. I'm also going to crack this top off. Sometimes it creates a vacuum. Hit that, drop that on, start the other timer. Great, good, smooth. So like I was saying, so you can see the timer starting. Can you see that? I can never really tell, even though I've got the monitor here. But as you can see, the coffee is flowing down. We've got a relatively coarser grind. Oh, this is interesting. So it's coming through. 45 seconds now. It's still going. We're at 48, 49. Well, it's looking pretty good. 57, 59. So there's a minute. So that's 4 minutes total. And we've got a good amount of coffee. And so as you can see here, let's look at the grinds. So it's relatively coarser ground, right? So we try to keep it a little bit on the coarse side for the full immersion part of the brewing. So like we're saying, we try to keep it to a coarse grind so that while it's steeping together, it's not going to get over extracted. So I'll show you closer up here. Look at that. It's a bit on the coarse side. Very similar to a French press. And what we're trying to gauge is how much resistance we're going to have with the coffee as it flows against the water, and so that we can get the right amount of time for brewing. Okay, so let's have a taste. So this coffee is the Corazon de Jesus from Finca El Salitre. It's a coffee that we source from Costa Rica in the Chiripo region. It's about 2,000 meters, and Alvaro is the name of the producer. It's a high-grown, hard bean, tropical fruit, light, airy, nicely bright, not too bright. I'm not really into the really heavy acid forward bright, crazy coffees. I like this, you know, kind of like a little muted on the acidity, but still much more brighter than most of our other coffees. So there's some good tropical characteristics, some pineapple. And so really it's just a matter of playing with your grind setting as well as paying attention to your brewing. So in a commercial environment, when you're brewing by hand, you're brewing multiple coffees, you know, throughout the day. So there's a greater opportunity for the professional barista to gauge the coffee, the grind. So I may make, as the day goes by, I may actually come here and, well, let's see, I'll get the, so you'll see that the R80, let me grab this, the R80, there we go, better. This is the R80, and it has a bunch of, oops. If I tilt my head up, I can't see it. I mean, so I can see it. But okay, there we go. So as you can see, the R80 has a, you know, gradations, and you can change this accordingly to go finer or coarser. So throughout the day, as I'm brewing the coffees, I'll adjust the grind setting to compensate for whatever may be happening. If it's going too fast, then I'll go finer. If it's going too slow, go a little bit coarser. You know, it's really just a matter of understanding that that's going to be your biggest factor. You know, because basically you've got the quantity of each, down to the quantity of coffee, you've got the quantity of water. You know all those things. Those are set variables, and you just need to do that. All right, so until next time.